nom, 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 nom.
Good morning, Sac City. Welcome in to another edition, a 100th edition of the Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron, the Mukesiah Mukes. And below us, we have your boy, my boy, and everybody's boy. He is AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful October 14th morning here in the city. Once again, this is episode 100. It is a special day here in the city. It's more of a special day for like just the show as a milestone. As us as individuals on this show, we have been through an episode 100 already. We've been doing this thing for a little bit longer than just 100 episodes. So it may just kind of flow through, but we are here. We're celebrating our 100th episode. Unfortunately, we have to start off tonight's episode by talking about just some terrible things. We've got terrible things in the morning headlines. We've got a terrible Thursday night football game that we have to recap, but we end it with talking about Bills Chiefs tonight, or today, as well as some good AFC matchups. So we've got a good show ahead of us, though. We've got a lot to talk about, so I'm not beating around the bush. We are going to jump right in to the Thursday night football recap here. The Washington Commanders defeated the Chicago Bears last night, 12-7 in a not so thrilling, action-packed Thursday night football game. It was not fun, guys. It's just plain and simple. It was not good football. At one point, Aaron sent during our chat. What did you send during our chat about the Bears, Aaron? What was it?
Well, I said the Bears are atrocious, and then I said, well, the Commanders are too. So it really that's really what it was. It was bad. Yeah. It was bad.
And I proceeded to say that you need to put the Georgia Bulldogs at 32 in our power rankings, and then we have the Chicago Bears just fall off because of how bad it was. This game was not very entertaining. Al Michaels, I'm not sure if you guys heard during the game, but we're listening to him, but he was just not invested at all. Like his emotions and his analysis was just so flatline. I was like, dude, this game is miserable. This might be the worst football game I have ever seen, but it was football. We got to see some things, some highlights from this game, some good things, some good notes from this game. Brian Robinson got his first touchdown since being shot in the leg. First career touchdown, actually. He went 17 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. Aaron, you have been the most talkative about the situation between Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. What did you see last night? What was your analysis from the game, at least from the rushing attack from the Washington Commanders?
Well, first, I would like to say, before I get into that, you mentioned Georgia being number 32. I'm going to be honest. I think Washington is number 32, even beating the Bears. And I'm sure we'll get into that as we get closer to the power rankings. But there is much to be said that maybe the Bears are the better football team. They just made the most mistakes in this game. Let's be honest. They actually dominated up and down the field in that game, gained a lot of yards, and Washington did absolutely nothing. But they turned the football over, got stopped on fourth down a number of times inside the red zone. So Washington gets the win. However, the running game, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. I want to caution people, as I've done for the past 2 months. Brian Robinson is not special. And I'll say it again. Like, I get it. It's a great story. We all like to see guys that go through adversity come out and play well and do certain things. But I watched that game last night. Brian Robinson's not a special running back. Brian Robinson is a thumper that goes downhill that can get you some touchdowns at the goal line. But he does not have explosiveness that you look for in the running back position. He is a poor man's Ezekiel Elliott now. He's a really poor man's Derrick Henry. Like, he does not have the explosiveness, and you can see it. In limited touches, and there is a lot to be said about Antonio Gibson and why he doesn't deserve to be on the field. In running style, just alone, the ability to break tackles. And I think the biggest comparison right now is look at Dameon Pierce and look at Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson didn't run through any tackles. He didn't do anything special. Dameon Pierce, on the other hand, looks explosive and he has that bowling ball type of mentality. If you look at the type of running back Brian Robinson is, it is not going to cut it in this league. He's no threat out of the backfield in the passing game because they got J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson. He is a 2.9 yard thumper. And if he falls into the end zone, fantasy owners may be happy. But I'm sorry, I have him in a fantasy league. And I was like, you know what? For Vinny, I'm going to start him today. I really started him because it's an easy win for me. I'm playing a team with an atrocious team. So I'm like, hey, maybe he falls into the end zone. He did. But I'm watching that game and I'm like, he won't start for me anymore. Rest of the season, he won't. Because the offensive line play is not good. The yards per carry is not good. There's no explosiveness. He does not have that upside that we look for in running backs. He just doesn't. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
I thought he was still hurt. There was one run that they bragged about because he got 8 yards, and I don't know how he was not tackled at the 2 yards in because
he could be. That he very well could be still hurt. But if that's the case, then it's just stupid to run him 17 times when you got people that are healthy in the backfield. That makes even less sense.
I don't know if I guess I'm interested to see what you see, and maybe we'll talk about this next week when we talk more about week 6 and everything, but what you see in the fact that Brian, to me, I don't know if I'm out yet on Brian Robinson. I didn't think he had that great of a game. I was begging like every other fantasy owner. I did have him in my lineup because I had to this week in our 1,000 player fantasy football league that we're in. I had to start Brian Robinson, and I'm thankful that he got into the end zone. But during the game, I was like, man, this is kind of like what last week was with him. It's just there's not much going on, but the workload was there, and that's where I think his value comes in. I'm not so sure I'm sold out on his productivity and that he can't get better. I mean, he's still, and I'm not going to put him on Dameon Pierce's level. Well, he's not there. He's just not Dameon Pierce is a better running back than Brian Robinson.
I'm not really talking from a fantasy perspective, Vinny. I get it. From a fantasy perspective. No,
I'm talking about in general.
That's my point.
I'm talking about in general. You look at the two running backs on the field. He's not on Dameon Pierce's level on the field. Absolutely. Dameon Pierce is a better running back than Brian Robinson. But this man, like AJ was saying, he might still be hurt. Who knows? I'm not going to guess on that part. But this is only his second game back in this offense. He is a rookie. Dameon Pierce didn't start off that great either with the Houston Texans in that first game either. And this was the first real game for Brian Robinson where he was the guy. So I'm not so sold out on
a poor defense.
I agree. I don't know about a poor run defense. Poor
run defense. Green Bay ran for almost 200. Houston Texans ran all over the Chicago Bears. They are a poor run defense and an excellent pass defense.
I think Roquan Smith was everywhere last night.
Everywhere every week.
That doesn't change the numbers. That doesn't change that they gave up 200 yards rushing to Houston and to Green Bay.
I'm just saying, I think that I'm not completely sold out on Brian Robinson just yet. I think that there still may be some good days to come, not in just fantasy, but I think he progresses and builds towards being a good running back in this league. Not a great running back. I'm not trying to say he can be a great running back, but I'm not sold out on him being a bad running back. Because I'm not disagreeing with you that he's a bad running
But when has he ever been explosive? He wasn't explosive in college.
You're right.
He was good because he played on Alabama. So what skill set are you saying that you're holding out hope for? Is this just Vinny's emotions saying, I love Brian Robinson because he played at Alabama? Because you're not giving me any substance.
I think he was a good pass-catching running back at Alabama. I think he did have good plays at Alabama. I thought he played well at Alabama.
What was his skill set? What skill set that translates to the NFL is what I'm asking. Not just, I played at Alabama behind the best offensive line in the damn country, and I could run through holes that were bigger than anything. What skill set translates? That's what I'm asking from an NFL perspective.
I think he can go, like you said, he had a great blocking system at Alabama. He can run in between tackles. He can find holes. He's not explosive. He's not going to blow up plays. I don't know the answer to your fucking question then. I don't know the answer to your fucking question.
And you're this is what I mean. You're emotional. You're using your bias because you can't sit here and tell me that you cannot sit here and tell me you have hope for somebody and not have a skill set to go. What substance is behind that? It's just hope. It's just you saying, I hope he's going to be better.
Was he a bad running back at Alabama?
He was. I'm asking you, what skill set translates to the NFL? That's what I'm asking you.
I was trying to tell you that he finds holes. He's a good damn running back. Okay, and we'll see. Okay, you were already wrong once about Brian Robinson. He had a great fucking fantasy day, and now you're going to be wrong again. Screw you.
Whoa, a great fantasy day.
A great fantasy day. Great fantasy day for someone you drafted in like the 10th, 11th, 12th round. Okay.
He did exactly what I told you.
Shout out the Commanders.
I told you, if he falls into the end zone, you're happy. If he doesn't, it's nothing. That's it.
Unbelievable. On the Bears side of things, Justin Fields, 14 of 27, 190 yards, a tutty, an interception. His weapons are exactly like we said on Wednesday's power ranking show. He literally has nothing. That Bears offense, in terms of outside of Darnell Mooney, is hot garbage. Hot garbage. Velus Jones cost them this game
again.
Well, no. That Martise guy, Smith Martise, cost them the game. This one because he had a catch and he didn't catch it, and he didn't come down with it. It came down to him.
I'm not letting it happen. I'm not letting that happen actually because at first they gave a lot of credit for that last night during the game, and really I put that on Justin Fields. That wasn't the best place to throw that ball. Darnell Mooney had to go up and make a catch, and while he had his hands on it and bobbled it and should have secured it, sure, but there was so much more room for Justin Fields to lead Darnell Mooney so he can run into the ball, catch it in his chest, and cross the goal line. It's not a great placement for the ball. We won't even talk about all those other options, but I get it. You're talking about having your fifth read be the guy who's wide open in the flat. Look at all the space to the left. You could have led Darnell Mooney on the stride, and he catches that ball, toe taps on the other side of the pylon, and scores a touchdown for the win. Wasn't a great throw. Wasn't a good spot. You gave the defender a chance to get there and hit him and jar the ball loose. Could have been a better throw. Should Darnell Mooney caught it? Absolutely. He had a great position once he went to go get the ball, and he let it go. That's on both of them. You can talk about David Montgomery being on the other side. Justin Fields was never going to get to that portion of the field. He was one of his very late reads. They were facing pressure all night. He thought he had to get the ball gone quick. It's not all Darnell Mooney in that side. It's a lot of the Bears all the way through. But
I didn't say it was Darnell Mooney.
yards of offense. 390 yards of offense. It could not win. Could not get in the end zone. There's a lot more to it.
I think the fact that what he has around him to throw. I did not specify Darnell Mooney. I'm really talking about everyone. Like you cannot win that many games when you're throwing guys like Smith Martise, Equinemius St. Brown, and Velus Jones. Like you're not going to win. But what I guess my biggest question with all this is
those guys were good in college, Vinny.
No, they were not. Stop it.
Yes.
What?
No, they were not. Stop it. Who's this Smith Martise guy? I've never even heard of him in my goddamn life.
You just like to say his name. You said his name 73 times over the past 2 days.
I don't know who this guy is. And then also, was Equinemius St. Brown that good in college?
Those guys were good in college.
Actually, yeah, it was pretty good.
Were they?
Yeah.
Were they that good in college? Yeah, do your research here. Do your research.
It's not even Martise. I don't even know why you keep calling him that.
What is it?
It's Marset.
Marset. That's it. Marset. Marchette. Marset. Mar nothing. More garbage.
I do disagree with you, AJ, though. I do disagree with you. You can blame Justin Fields for not putting the ball in a better place. Mooney's their number one receiver. Darnell Mooney's supposed to be the guy. Darnell Mooney's got to catch the damn ball. He said it. I'm not going to deflect to Justin Fields. Justin Fields actually ran 60 yards on that play, made the play happen. He threw to wide open receivers. They could not catch the ball. They all dropped it. Yes, it's not all on Darnell Mooney because, first of all, that play is a microcosm of what that game was. How about we talk about the coaching in the red zone and you couldn't find a way to get in the end zone once when you were down there time after time after time again. That
fourth down run play with Khalil Herbert up the middle made no sense to be like I can't. That
looked like he belly flopped on his own pile.
Justin Fields doinking it off to somebody, picked off. Khalil Herbert late in the game, they throw first of all a route that's right at the goal line is a very dangerous route on fourth down. You got to be able to get into the end zone. You have to the scheme for what Justin Fields does best.
It's always in the best spot.
Always.
It's the same question. I always want to have him drop back and just standard sit there and throw the football. They need to get him in the positions that he's best at, and they still do not do it. And Justin Fields does not have the skill set, the developmental skill set right now to be an in the pocket passer the entire game. He doesn't have it. He is not Lamar Jackson. Everybody wants to say that because he can run. He's not. Lamar Jackson's a much better pocket passer than Justin Fields. Justin Fields has to be out of the pocket. You have to get him in space. You have to protect him, and they can't do any of that. And the Bears are.
I think it's starting to get psychological with him because, when he was at Ohio State, he wanted to be a passer. He wanted to be able to throw the ball, and he had the weapons, he had the line. And for the past 2 seasons, he's just been pressured and pressured and pressured. I think he's been sacked 14 times at this point. I forgot the exact stat, but he's faced a lot of pressure over the last couple of weeks. And at this point, I think it's just becoming instinctual. If his first progression's not there, maybe his second's not there. If he waits that long, he takes off and runs because that's all he knows how to do. He's facing pressure after pressure, and it's just about getting out of the pocket. That's understand.
The NFL, AJ. I know his offensive line is bad, but that's the NFL. You don't get to sit back there like you do at Ohio State for 6.5 seconds.
No. But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about 2 seconds. I'm talking 3 seconds. He freaks quickly is what I'm getting.
Yeah, because
he's getting that pressure. But there's other quarterbacks you could say the same thing about. That was what we looked at Jalen Hurts and thought he had an issue with, that he just wanted to run too much. And as soon as he got a little bit more line and he got a coach that knew how to use him, it became better. Justin Fields isn't at that point yet. They haven't done enough to get him comfortable to be able to even move within the pocket and find his progressions. It's not
the pressure is going to burst the pipes.
I think it already has.
Vinny named the number the other day I think it was Vinny. When Jalen Hurts is pressured, he's one of the worst quarterbacks. He's worst quarterback in football. And when he's not pressured, he's great. He looks great because that's every quarterback in the NFL.
The stat was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts passer rating when pressured 22nd in the league, and then 5th in the league when not pressured. And then I said the similar stat the previous week with Joe Burrow when he's not pressured. That is what it is. It's just the team is bad. Expect more bad games. I'm sorry,
I don't
Bears
know if Justin
fans.
Fields lasts in Chicago. Remember, this is not Eberflus's guy. This is not their GM's guy. They didn't draft him. I do think there's going to come a point in time in a couple of years that Justin Fields is probably not in Chicago. Maybe next year.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
After year 3,
Justin Fields, the 76th quarterback in 7 years for the Indianapolis Colts. That's how that works. The Colts are just going to continue rolling through quarterbacks. Next year, it's going to be Daniel Jones. The year after that, we'll find Justin Fields in there. It's going to happen. All right, but that we talked way too much about this game. The Bears, they go to 2-4. Commanders also now 2-4. They win this game 12-7. Let's stay with this game and get into some morning headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Probably the biggest highlight from last night's action, what came after the game when head coach Ron Rivera walked off his press conference with this little note.
What's important is these guys, okay? For the last couple of weeks, honestly, I'm gonna speak my mind for a second. It's been hard. It really has. You lose 4 games in a row, and everybody wants to get you, just get on you. And they've played their asses off. They have. They played their asses off for everybody. They come out and they show up. They work hard. All right. They don't complain. Okay. They hear all this stuff and they got to deal with it. I get that. And I respect them for that because they're resilient. They come back. Everybody keeps wanting to say, I didn't want anything to do with Carson. Well, bullshit. I'm the fucking guy that pulled out the sheets of paper, that looked at the analytics, that watched the tape in the when we were at Indianapolis. Okay. And that's what pisses me off. Because the young man doesn't deserve to have that all the time. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Walked off the set, dropped the mic, defended his quarterback, defended his team, all after the win against the Bears. Aaron, you're shaking your head. What do you? What's your?
Womp womp womp! Don't put things on my quarterback. He's not that bad. I watched the tape. Man, shut the hell up. Nobody cares. It's the NFL. It's a business. These guys have a job to do, and he's not doing his job. Great. You want to defend your quarterback that threw for 99 yards against the Bears? Like, come on. I don't care about him going up there and ranting about leave them alone. My team's trying. They're doing their best. This is not Pee Wee football. These are grown-ass men getting paid millions of dollars to play the game, specifically millions of dollars in Carson Wentz's case, who he doesn't get the same criticism as every other quarterback that's not playing well. 99 yards. He threw for 99 yards against the Chicago Bears. And yes, their pass defense is not very bad. They got some rookies back there that are playing well. 99 yards. Not 90. That's 99 yards. And we're going to sit here and like defend that? No, hell no.
Not good, Bob.
He should have went back to his last statement and said, what's the difference between his team? The quarterback. They still – I don't get why you're going to go up there and rant like that in that situation.
Can I ask you a question here about this Wentz thing, about the Commanders?
I don't get
it. Yeah, well, we know you don't get it.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
Try.
We talked about this the other day, like with Baker Mayfield and like certain quarterbacks, they try and do just that they try and win you the game. They try and go out and make those plays. The hero ball is what you called it. Do you think the Commanders would be better off with Taylor Heineke as their quarterback?
Yes, not a question. This is the same exact thing as Baker Mayfield. How is Terry McLaurin worse as a player with Carson Wentz than any other quarterback he's had? 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were talking Terry McLaurin right up there with who? DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, all these guys that came in that were in year 3 wide receivers, like, oh, he's got next. How is it that he's worse? Terry McLaurin ain't worse a player. He still gets open. He still does the same things. He's not hurt. How is he worse? There's only one thing that could possibly be. He actually got more help. Curtis Samuel's there. Jahan Dotson was playing well early. He got worse as a player because Carson Wentz is the quarterback. That is a problem. They need to bench Carson Wentz immediately. I don't care if it's Taylor Heineke. I don't care if it's Sam Howell. And I'm not saying those guys are the answer. But we have now seen that Carson Wentz is not the answer. What are you trading for Carson Wentz for? Because I know it's not 99 yards and a 12-7 win over the Chicago Bears. That's not what you're looking for.
A Bo-Raps 12-7 win. Because don't drop that punt and on the damn 6. I don't know that they win that game. It was not.
The Bears
good.
beat themselves.
They really did. They really did. And even with Ron Rivera said, I'll give you this. I think that actually came from the fact that he felt bad that he's probably the reason Carson Wentz got all this week, because what he said was true and he knows it's true, but he was hoping it wouldn't open up Pandora's box for 7 days straight. And newsflash, it's been for about 2.5 years, because Carson Wentz, since he left the Eagles, all eyes has been on him, because he said basically in less words or maybe more that he needed a new start. Philadelphia wasn't the place for him. They weren't doing right by him. I'm ad-libbing, obviously. And he went to the Colts, a team that everybody looked at, had the defense, needed the quarterback, had the offensive line, needed a quarterback. Carson Wentz was supposed to be that guy, and he made them worse as well. That defense carried them to what should have been a playoff berth, and Carson Wentz almost single-handedly ruined that dream for them. There was a lot into it, but we can put the blame there. Comes to Washington, more weapons. A team that 2 years ago we loved their defense. Last year they kind of slipped off. A team 2 or 3 years ago had one of the best offensive lines that kind of slipped off. You have weapons. You've seen what you can do against Jacksonville, and they've been shown to be a better team. And since that day, it has been nothing but trending downward. And I'm sorry, the blame goes behind center in number 12, Carson Wentz. There's a lot to this team that needs to be fixed, but it starts there. And if you don't look at it,
the writing was on the wall. When you have a competition with Nick Foles, the writing's on the wall.
You talked about Al Michaels not being invested in this game. The most I heard him excited was when he was talking about Dan Snyder selling the team. This team needs a rebuild from the top down.
I said that last night in the newsroom. I was like, I said that last night. I was like, dude, I think this is the most excited Al Michaels has been all game long. Like, this has been his highlight of his night, is to take the shot at Dan Snyder. Like this is it. Yeah. This is the highlight. This is peak. This is peak right now. And that's what happened.
These are a joke.
Yeah, they are. One other bit of headline news that I would just want to touch on and really just bring up here. There has been a new civil lawsuit filed against quarterback Deshaun Watson. The woman says that Watson pressured her into some stuff that I'm not going to mention in 2020 during a massage in December of 2020.
Show. He said fuck like 3 minutes into the show, and now we're a censored show.
Can't say oral sex on the show. Yes, the woman says Watson pressured her into oral sex in 2020, December of 2020 during a massage. It's just another lawsuit now filed against Deshaun Watson. Not sure that if that plays a part in his return. That's actually in a few weeks now into the NFL. But just more stuff to pile on the Deshaun Watson train. It's not going to end anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. Not going to end anytime soon with Deshaun Watson, but he'll be back on the field to kick off the second week in December or second week in November. We'll see him on the field. But just another lawsuit now filed against Deshaun Watson. That does it though for our morning headlines. Aaron, it is time for the injury report.
All right. It's time for the injury report. We will get through this pretty quickly so we can get into these game previews for the AFC. James Conner, Darrell Williams, the running back, and the running backs in Arizona, both missed practice on Thursday. James Conner dealing with that rib injury. Darrell Williams is likely out with that knee injury anyways on Sunday. Expect some more of Eno Benjamin. If James Conner can't go, expect Eno to get the full workload. Rashad Bateman is questionable, his knee injury. For Baltimore, we'll see if they have him back or if it's going to be Devin Duvernay, Dylan's guy, for a while. T. Higgins was not present at Bengals practice on Thursday, still dealing with an ankle injury. He tried to go last week. We'll see if he tries to go this week, but it's been keeping him out for a couple of weeks now. Micah Parsons, we saw him pull up with that growing injury and say, I didn't care. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to get the game-winning sack fumble. He was limited on Thursday. I do not expect him to miss the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Micah Parsons is just that dude. So expect him to be on the field. Jonathan Taylor was limited. He does have a chance to play on Sunday with that ankle injury for the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, they're going to need him. Deion Jackson and Phillip Lindsay ran the ball pretty well last week, but they're not Jonathan Taylor. So they're going to be looking to get him back. Keenan Allen's been out for a while, still out with that hamstring injury. He was limited. So who knows if he's going to be back this week. Hopefully they get him back on the field. And then big news for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jordan Mailata has a chance to play on Sunday. And I mentioned him yesterday saying that he was might be out. They're saying he has a chance to play on Sunday. That will be huge for the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line against that Dallas Cowboys pass rush.
Yeah, that matchup's going to be huge. And to protect Jalen Hurts is going to be the key. That does it though for our injury report, our morning headlines, and our Thursday night recap. Let's get into some matchups. That's right. It is time to get into some matchups here, and we're kicking things off with the New England Patriots traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Both teams at 2-3. The Browns are favorites in this game by 2.5 points with an over-under of 43.5. Aaron, there is no place we start. We don't start Patriots games off anywhere else. But talking about that says the Cowboys and Eagles, that's wrong. We don't start this off anywhere else but Bailey Zappi here. He has come in and replaced Mac Jones.
For 1.
Yeah, that's me just really screwing the pooch here. Right. I really hope the predictions graphics are not wrong, but I'm pretty sure they are. Actually, they're right. Great. Bailey Zappi, second career start. Aaron, what do you expect to see from the Zapster here in start number 2?
I don't know what to expect, but I expect much of what we've seen from game 1. I think he's going to be smart with the football because I think that's what Bill Belichick and this offense kind of breeds from a quarterback. So I don't expect a lot of turnovers or anything. He has the arm talent. And we've talked about, is there a real difference between him and Mac Jones? To be honest, I think he's a little bit more athletic than Mac Jones. I think his arm talent is even a little bit better. He's not as accurate, but I do think he has the arm talent. I expect him to play like Bailey Zappi. Like I really do. I expect him to play like Bailey Zappi. I love the graphic. Listen, Bailey Zappi did a lot in college, and I get it was a smaller school, but he threw the ball around the yard. This is not a guy that's inexperienced in throwing. This is not for Vinny would say like a Trey Lance where he didn't throw the ball a lot and we're not sure of what he's capable with his arm. Like we saw this guy fling the football around Now it's just about being smart in the NFL, understanding schemes, understanding concepts, getting to your reads, knowing your hot routes, things like that. And I think with the team that lacks weapons on the outside, if they keep it simple, which New England's offense, it's simple. It's not Brady's offense anymore. I think there could be some success. So I expect a good day from him. I'm not saying he's going to be some world beater. I'm not going to say he's going to go out there and he's going to throw, 5,000 yards and all this stuff, but it's the Cleveland Browns. They have talent, but they can be had. We've seen teams, move the ball in them. They just got rid of their defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, and bringing in somebody else. So I think he'll have a good day. I like some Zappy.
All hail the Zapster. Not anything flashy in terms of the stat category, but just enough to keep them afloat. And maybe where's the quarterback competition in New England? Start Bailey Zappi over Mac Jones. That's going to start coming up now if he can do well here. AJ, on the Brown side of things, they lost last week to the Chargers in a tight matchup. It was exactly what we thought the game would look like, lots of running. But it came down to Jacoby Brissett. And now facing his former team in the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick seems to find a way to neutralize your best player on offense, and that's Nick Chubb for this team. Do you think the Browns can overcome that? And how do you see the Browns finding a way to win this game if they neutralize Nick Chubb?
I was really hoping you were going to ask the question the way you typed it, but that's okay.
It's pretty much the same thing. I just worded it different.
Yeah. Well, the answer was going to be protection if you asked it the way you worded it, but it's still the same answer. Protection. That's how they stop this defense. That's how they stop what New England's going to be best at. You get that. You win this game in the trenches because what you do is by running the ball. And if they have to take care of the run game, honestly, that makes New England's defense feel a little bit more comfortable because they already are comfortable and confident in their secondary. They've made some opportunistic plays. Maybe they're not the absolute best at it, but their defense has been trending up each single week. Now, Nick Chubb is not somebody that you just stop. Nick Chubb is somebody you temper. But then you have to deal with Kareem Hunt. So everything for the Browns is pointing that they can still run their game plan and still, I won't say have their way with this defense, but still feel comfortable within their game plan and their identity. Run the ball through Nick Chubb, get Kareem Hunt in there to spell and do what he does best. And that allows Jacoby Brissett, a guy who knows this Patriots team a little bit, where he came up, and sure, it's a little different now, but allows him to be the balanced game manager that he is. He's going to make some plays with Amari Cooper. He's going to make some plays with Donovan Peoples-Jones, undoubtedly, in my opinion. But this game, like many for teams that, one on the Patriots are a defensive team and two on the Browns as a running team, this game takes place in the trenches.
Yeah, and this should be good.
I just wanted to clarify. Joe Woods was not fired yet. He's been under pressure by the Browns to get things right defensively. He was not fired. It was the Carolina Panthers defense coordinator who was fired.
Well, I mean, I understand why he's under the microscope. I mean, this is a defense. This defense, and we say it on paper, has a lot of talent. I've raved about their secondary for 2 years now because I thought it would come to fruition by now. And they've just been very inconsistent. It's going to allow a guy like Bailey Zappi to feel comfortable if he can get a delay of game touchdown 2 weeks in a row. That would be very nice for Bailey Zappi. And this is the defense that can happen on. Yeah, I threw a little shade. Just a little.
Yeah, I think that Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. That's it right there. That's it right there. Okay, let's get into predictions then. AJ, who you got?
I am actually going to take the Patriots in this one. I think they escape with the win 24-20.
Okay. All right. Aaron?
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me because I do like Belichick against just teams like this. I think this is the games the Patriots win. But I'm going with the Browns here. I think the running game prevails. I think the Browns win 23-17. I think, like you just mentioned, it's a lot of Nick Chubb. It's a lot of Kareem Hunt. Jacoby Brissett going a revenge game against the Patriots. Going up against that defense, I really like the Amari Cooper matchup. He cooks everybody, especially in man coverage. Ask J.C. Jackson. But I think Cleveland's team is good. They struggle in some situations, some games that cost them games, but I think this game is close. I think it's low scoring, and I think Cleveland finds a way to pull it out at home, 23-17.
I am on the side of the Patriots here. I think the Patriots end up winning this game 19-14. I think it's a very low scoring game. I don't think it's a very clean game from either team. I guess I am leaning heavily into the Bill Belichick narrative of stopping your number one guy, keying in on that. And like Aaron said, though, Amari Cooper is still a great player. Like he torches dudes, and Jacoby Brissett has been known to find him, and that could be a big factor in this game. But I just have a hard time putting my faith in Jacoby Brissett. He's done a good job in Cleveland. He's been keeping them afloat and doing exactly what they need to do do exactly what he needs to do before Deshaun Watson comes back. But in this game, I don't know. I guess I'm riding with that narrative that Bailey Zappi is going to push for the starting, not push realistically for the starting job, but make this thing interesting and get his second win with New England Patriots. They win this one 19-14. The next game on our list is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-3, traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts at 2-1. This is a game between two teams that, one team that's really been struggling and grinding it out and trying to figure out their own things in the Colts. And the Jaguars coming off of a loss against the Houston Texans. The Colts are favored in this game by 2 points with an over-under of 42. AJ with the Jaguars last week and the loss 13-6. What did you see from that? And how did the Jaguars bounce back in this game?
They need to get back on top of the turnover battle. I mean, that's been something that's been an issue, the way they've been turning the ball over the past 2 weeks. You look back when they were winning games, the Jaguars in week 2 and 3, and they were a +5 in the turnover margin. In the past 2 weeks, they're -6 in the last 2 losses. You look at Trevor Lawrence, who's someone we were excited about, who we still know has all the talent in the world, just has to kind of put it all together. We watched him lose the ball, 4 fumbles against the Eagles, 3 interceptions over the past 2 weeks. That can't happen against a Colts team that has some things to play for, if you will, especially in a division matchup where the Colts are know that they got a win they really didn't deserve. I think they're going to come in a little bit stronger. So Trevor Lawrence has to be aware of what's going on against who he's about to play and these guys and Stephon Gilmore and that defense. And then I love Travis Etienne. I love James Robinson. Me and Aaron had a very good conversation about these running backs on the Fantasy Drive. If you missed it, go check it out. But one thing that I remember us talking about was he didn't draft Travis Etienne to replace James Robinson. You drafted it so they can play off of one another. And so far, now over the past couple of weeks that Travis Etienne's been getting the snaps and James Robinson has been downgraded, if you will, I think they need to find a way to make their two skill sets work well together. Because if you don't have to worry about both of them, this pass game is not going to open back up the way we expect it to.
Well, there is one problem with all that. This offensive staff did not draft draft Travis Etienne, but I do understand what you're saying. I do like that what you said, because we're seeing it in Dallas right now. We're seeing it with the Cowboys and what they're doing with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. That's like the exact recipe right there that you need to implement in Jacksonville with your Travis Etienne and your James Robinson. I think, and it's huge for the growth of Trevor Lawrence as well. You're giving him that extra pad in the back that allows him to say, okay, now I can be a little bit more free when it comes to passing, and it makes defenses have to consider that run. On the Colts side of things, Aaron, last week they had that thrilling Thursday night football game against the Broncos that they ended up squeaking out the win. Obviously not a whole lot of great to take away from that game, but there has to be something, right? There has to be something. What did the Colts do right in that game that you think they need to carry over to this game? Or is it just something that, like, they didn't do anything right and they got to start somewhere? What do the Colts need to do in this game to get the win, basically?
That game is exactly what last night's game was. Like, the team that won the game, the Colts didn't have really anything positive coming out of the game other than they won the game. Similar to the Commanders did last night. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor being on the field is a huge part of what the Colts want to do, and they want to be this run-first football team. But to me, they have to fix this offensive line. They have to get that right, because Matt Ryan is a statue. And if you have a statue at quarterback and you can't protect him, it's going to force him to be mistake and turnover prone. So it's what we've seen. Colts leading the league in turnovers and stuff like that. That's a problem. You can't turn the football over. First of all, we've seen this matchup. We saw this matchup a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't close. It was an absolute embarrassment of the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, it was in Jacksonville, but this Jacksonville defense isn't getting worse. This Jacksonville defense is fifth in the league in scoring or in scoring defense, only allowing 16 points a game. They're doing exactly what I expected them to do this week or this year defensively, which is be the most improved defense in the NFL. And they're creating turnovers. They're flying around the football. They're young. They have energy. It's a different face of what Jacksonville's used to, well, really since the Jalen Ramsey days of the 2017 years. So I think the Colts are going to have to come in and find a way to establish the run. In a matter of, I think, 2 weeks, the Jaguars went from one of the worst run defenses to a top 10 run defense, by yards yards allowed. Like, that's how quick it happened because there was a little bit of a sample size. They're now not giving up as many rush yards. They're only giving up a little less than 100 yards a game on the ground, which is top 10 in the NFL. This defense is better than they've been in a long time. The Colts have to find a way to run the football, control the clock, and then on defense put pressure on Trevor Lawrence and make him feel uncomfortable to make mistakes. But with no Shaq Leonard, it's hard to do. We can gauge the Colts defense on the Broncos, but their offense wasn't really doing much. So it's going to be tough for the Colts here. I'm not sold that this Colts defense or this Colts team is going to bounce back. I really don't like what I've seen from their offense.
I think it's huge to get Jonathan Taylor back. Obviously, when you get one of the best players in the game back, that's a big addition. But we've seen it in the past. We saw with what Damian Harris was able to do last week, and we saw it the week prior when the Eagles were able to run on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you said their rush defense has been good, but over the past 2 weeks, it has not been all that great. A lot of missed tackles, a lot of that's the way you're going to be able to. Not necessarily that's the way you're going to be able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that's the way the Colts should be winning games. Talk about hero ball and Matt Ryan. I don't think Matt Ryan's out here trying to do too much. The offensive line has not been able to protect him, and he's also a statue back there, like you said. But it is going to be huge for them to get back into the ground and pound, give Jonathan Taylor the ball, and then let Matt Ryan just throw it when he needs to throw it, rather than just throwing it all the time in the game.
You didn't think that now the Philly game was obviously because it was a slop fest, and that was tough for them. I thought they defended the run really well against the Texans. Like they had, there was a couple of runs where Dameon Pierce, who was hard to tackle, got loose. But if you told me at the end of the day that a number one back's going 27 carries for barely 100 yards, I'll take that. Your offense didn't move the ball, so there's going to be 27 carries. Eventually, those numbers are going to add up. They're not giving up 7 yards per carry like that. That's what I'm worried about, is getting gashed on the ground. That's what demoralizes a team. But if that's 27 carries for 99 yards, I'll sign up for that every day of the week. Yeah,
they're not getting gashed like they used to when Derrick Henry used to just stiff arm everyone and go for 99 on one play. Like, that's not happening with the Jaguars team anymore. But I do think that they can be ran on. I think that Jonathan Taylor can have success against this defense. And also, you brought up the little note, and we'll get into our predictions after this. The fact that the defense was on the field a whole lot for the Jacksonville Jaguars because this offense was like that. That's the key, really, to beating this Jaguars team right now, is making that offense, the Jaguars offense, just turn the ball over, turnovers on downs, like get them off the field and control this game on offense for the Colts. That's the key, because this defense that's what happened with the Texans last week. They weren't like scoring a lot. They only scored 13 points. The defense did good for the Jags, but they were on the field so much, and you just wear them down. That's what can be had in this game. I do lean the Jaguars here. I'm going to go with the Jaguars 26-23. I think it's a closer game. I think Jonathan Taylor does make a difference and keeps it tight. But the Jaguars get the win. I think the Jaguars sweep the Colts this time this year, which hasn't happened in a while. I'll have to go back and look at the stat. Hopefully it happens. But the Jaguars do win this game 26-23 in my eyes. Bounce back day for Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson on the offensive side. I think they get Christian Kirk involved a little bit more. We've seen him struggle the past 2 weeks. Again, the Eagles game is a slop fest, but not a great week from him last week. I think Christian Kirk bounces back. Jaguars offense bounces back 26-23. Aaron?
Oh, you must have said something to me. I froze. You guys got to recognize my freeze. You guys got to recognize my freeze moments, and AJ, you got to jump in.
I thought I saw it, but literally
when
you asked me, you moved right immediately. So I was like, oh, he's good.
Also, normally when like we send it to you or you freeze or something, your words follow very quickly. And like,
well, I didn't know who you were sending it to next because you hadn't finished your soliloquy about how the Jaguars are going to win before I heard. Yeah. So, anyways, I'll go mine next. I also have the Jags. I have them 31-16. There's no way the Colts are scoring 23 points. This Colts offense is bad. Matt Ryan's a statue. They can't block. Despite Jacksonville's defense being on the field a lot last game, they still almost doubled the yardage of the Houston Texans. They just could not find ways to score points. I think that's different this week. The Jaguars are still for real. The Jaguars are still a good football team. I still think they have a chance to get into the playoffs this year because of that defense. I told you at the beginning of the season, they are young, so they are going to lose games that they should win just because of some young mistakes and stuff like that. 31-16 Jaguars. Sweep the Colts for the first time when Vinny tells you how long it's been.
Yeah, looks like we got a three-way here. I am also going with the Jags.
It's not gay.
Ew. Let's remove.
Oh, whoa! You removed him. Oh, wow. Oh my. Now it's just a two-way.
Got me in the corner watching. You guys suck.
It's not gay. It's a three-way.
I got the Jags. I think this will be a low game. I expect some of the turnover problems to continue on the Jaguar side of the ball. Yeah, I'm going with some scoregami here.
18-14. When was the last? You know what? Go ahead.
Was that scoregami
here?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm guessing. I don't actually
come
know
on.
that.
You can't just say it's a scoregami and not know if it's a scoregami. What are you doing?
I would have gone and researched the scoregami score and be like, I want that one. That's not what I did.
You've had this prediction for 2 days.
Yeah, but I wasn't dwelling on it. I'm not a Jaguar fan like you. You're probably sitting at home like, man, that 23-17 really looks good every minute, every day. I'm not. I thought that it's going to be a sloppy game for the Jags and he's going to turn the ball over. I know it's going to be a sloppy game for Matt Ryan. He's going to fumble 3 more times. I know the defense of the Colts will force him into some mistakes. Stephon Gilmore's a dude. Low score, not great. 18-14.
18-14 is not a scoregami.
18-14. See? There you go.
18-14 has happened 5 times. The last game that it happened actually featured the Colts. The last time that a game ended 18-14, the Colts defeated the Niners 18-14 November 1st in 2009.
19-14.
That is also not a score. The closest scoregami from that in that realm is 22-18. Has never happened before.
Really?
And
wild.
20 and
not really wild, actually.
18-11 has never happened before.
That makes
scoregamis
sense.
are a lot. We're not going to get into this. I don't want to jump down this rabbit hole of scoregamis. Next game on our list is the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Miami to take on the Vikings. We always talk about how hard it is to travel to take on the Dolphins in Miami around this time of year. The Vikings, though, are favored 3 points with an over-under of 45.5. The Dolphins, without Tua Tagovailoa in this game, without Teddy Bridgewater, Skylar Thompson will be starting for the Dolphins. Aaron, you've been critical of the Dolphins over the past week, dropping them farther and farther down on your power rankings. Is this another game similar to last week where it was obviously it's not the Jets, like the Vikings are a good team, but what are you looking for out of this Dolphins team against the Vikings, a much better opponent now with Skylar Thompson at quarterback?
I don't know what I would say. It's a much better opponent than the New York Jets. I think this is a different game. You get 2 teams that don't know each other very well, right? It's out of a conference game. It's going to be tough for Minnesota to come into Miami. I think it's a tough game for Minnesota. I regardless of who's at quarterback for Miami, I think that when you have games like this and you're not as familiar with the team as the Jets are with Miami, it's a little bit different. So Skylar Thompson's a new quarterback. You don't have much tape on him. How are you going to game plan for that if you're Minnesota's defense? But really, this comes down to the secondary of Miami, which has played pretty poorly thus far this season, but has a bunch of talented guys. And are you going to be able to stop Justin Jefferson and this new air raid offense that Minnesota's bringing? And despite what we feel about Kirk Cousins, this game's not in prime time, so he'll probably play pretty well. And Justin Jefferson is an absolute beast. So you got Adam Thielen, a veteran, KJ Osborne mixed in there, Irv Smith. They got weapons in Minnesota. It's going to come down to this Miami secondary, and are they going to be able to stop the offense because they haven't played so great as of late?
So it's not so much on Skylar Thompson in this game. Like that's not like it's just.
This is going to sound so bad, but like Skylar Thompson, Teddy Bridgewater, who cares? Same thing. Like they're both going to be in there to be game managers and get the ball into their weapons, right? Skylar Thompson's actually played pretty well from what we've seen of him in NFL action. The rest of the game he played in, and then the preseason he was lights out. And again, I get it; it's preseason. We're not jumping, for joy over him, but we haven't seen him like shit the bed. It's not like we've watched him play like Kellen Mond or somebody. So, I think there's something there. I think he's capable of being a game manager and just getting. You got Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, who's kind of in the doghouse, Tyreek Hill, get it to your weapons. Cedric Wilson, if you're Vinny, Trent Sherfield. But yeah, just get it to your weapons and good things will happen.
That was only for Teddy. With Skylar Thompson, I can't do it. I can't go in. That's why that's the only reason why Trent Sherfield's not a thing, because it's not Teddy. AJ, on the Vikings side, you've been high on them this season. You've been high on them as of late from this season and last season. What you look like that for? You have been high on them, have you not?
No, he's been high on that offense. That's been the argument.
You've been high on them.
We had a conversation that Kevin O'Connell might do more for the offense. And then anytime we talk about the Vikings, I've been very truthful about what Kirk Cousins has been, what Justin Jefferson is and probably will be. But I get what you're trying to do, so I'm going to just take it down a notch.
No inaccurate statements here. No lies have been told right now. The Vikings, though, are on a 3-game win streak, and in their 3 games, they're all of those games they trailed in the fourth quarter. Do you expect them to be trailing much in this game? Or what do you expect from this offense? What do you want to see from them in a game where they're favored and it's in Miami?
This is the best damn offense in the. No, I'm kidding. Look, actually, it's not the offense that I have much to see from. I expect it to look like we've always seen it. A lot of passes to Justin Jefferson in the first half. Adam Thielen's getting back his end zone identity. Dalvin Cook, KJ Osborne. We mentioned the weapons. Aaron put it out so eloquently. It's more about this defense, because Miami has a good offense. The only question mark is their quarterback, Skylar Thompson, in his first start. You mentioned the preseason. I'll tell you about what Aaron Rodgers said about the preseason, where you're watching a lot of basic schemes from teams, and anybody can look good in the preseason. Not to take anything away from Skylar Thompson, but I don't expect it to be like that in this game. Skylar Thompson or not, this is the regular season. Minnesota is on their best start in about 3, 4, 5 years, a 3-game win streak, and they want to keep it going by any means possible. So I expect his defense to throw things at a rookie that he's not prepared for. I expect him to disguise up different blitzes. I expect him to get after the quarterback and force him into mistakes. If Skylar Thompson is not able to get the ball out quickly and allow these weapons like a Jalen Waddle and a Tyreek Hill to do what they do best at the end after they get the ball in their hands, Raheem Mostert, who's been playing very well to this point and knock is healthy still, it's going to be a tough day for him. And I expect Minnesota to be on their head on the defensive side of the ball. It's the one time when you can look really, really good as a defense. You're gonna have to show up.
Yeah, I think what I'm highlighting here that I want to see in a game where obviously it's Skylar Thompson at quarterback is, how do you neutralize Tyreek Hill and how do you neutralize Jalen Waddle? Because that, like we talked all the offseason about this Vikings defense, that's the story with this team. It's not the offense. We know this offense is good. We've seen what this offense can do, but it's the defense, and it's specifically the secondary as of late. Last week they were able to. The secondary came up clutch. Wham bam, Cam Dantzler was able to win them the ball game by snatching it out of Marchette, whatever his name is. He pulled it out of his hands. They were able to win the game. The secondary made a play there. They have to make plays against this offense with weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's what I'm really watching for. How does Patrick Peterson? How does Cam Dantzler? How does the secondary play against the weapons that Miami has?
This is unreal. Come on, guys. Neutralizing Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle for a team that hasn't neutralized anybody that hasn't had any talent. Like, look at who they
why we're
played.
Watching for it.
The Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, the Detroit Lions. These are the receivers that the Minnesota Vikings have had to play over the past 3 weeks. They've given up 24, 25, 22 points to these teams. And now you're bringing in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. We've seen what happened when they played real good receivers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and they got steamrolled.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. I'm not saying it can happen. That's why I'm saying
I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to AJ, who said this is what he's looking at because of Skylar Thompson.
What I'm looking for.
No.
Yes, that's exactly
you said this is what you expect because they're playing Skylar Thompson. And anybody can play well in the preseason. Well, I just brought up a name. You can't. His name was Kellen Mond. He couldn't play well in the preseason because he didn't. So not everybody can play well in the preseason.
That man
and to your point, this is where the genius. This is where the genius now, the boy genius, whatever, Mike McDaniels comes into play. His job is to make sure that ball gets in the hand of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle very early. So Skylar Thompson doesn't have to read defenses like that. And if there's any team that can read bubble screens, reverses, without even your quarterback having to do anything, that's the situation you want to be in. You want to be able to put in them. Now, I'm not saying Skylar Thompson's going to be perfect, but Minnesota's defense has shown me zero as far as me trusting them. They could not stop the Bears. The Bears came back. The Bears, and we watched them last night, who couldn't move the ball on the trash-ass Commanders. So I don't buy it.
That's divisional.
I don't buy it. I don't just don't buy it.
All I'm saying, I expect this defense to find ways to confuse Skylar Thompson. Do I expect it to work? That's to be seen. That's what I'm getting at. When you have this opportunity, you have a guy back there. And yeah, you're right. Mike McDaniel, he's very good at what he does, quote unquote. They have to find ways. That's the expectation. You have a quarterback out there who's making his first start, and there's one or two ways it's going to go. He's either going to be a deer in headlights, or he's going to be so excited to show what he's got because now it's his time until Tua comes back that you still get it hyped up, and maybe he's got a hero ball complex. I don't know. It's his first start. With this defense, that front seven, they need to find ways to protect their secondary and get after the quarterback. That's all I want. That's all I want to know. If you find ways to get the ball in Tyreek Hill's hands, it's going to go well for you. I don't know that Skylar Thompson can find ways to get it in the hands of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert and not Chase Edmonds and a Mike Gesicki. Like that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm getting at. So you're right. The Minnesota defense hasn't been like, oh man, look at the way they're trending. But hey, there's
roll into your prediction.
Sunday,
Hurry up and pick the Vikings.
Given Sunday, I will pick the Vikings, and I'll pick it very easily. 31-17. This offense gonna roll.
Vinny, you're confusing. Why is the pick on this side now?
Because the over/under's on the left.
But when the picks on the other side,
it's been like that all last show. It switches up depending on where the over/under is. I can't stack it on top of the over/under. It would cover up someone's face or be extremely small.
I got you. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Anyways,
it is very cool.
I have the Dolphins in this one, 27-24.
Fucking clown.
Because I picked the Dolphins?
No, because you're trying to call out my graphic.
I was asking, fool.
Yeah.
You
were going to try and call me out on consistency. I know where you're going.
No, I was asking, why is it on one side and then the other? And you gave me an answer, and I said, okay. Not everything's a shot at you, Vinny, just because I shoot to take shots at you during football conversations. Anyways.
Not because everything, not because all the time I take shots at you, but
yeah, I take shots at you about the football stuff, not about the graphic stuff. I was asking a question. Anyways, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. It's 27-24, Miami Dolphins. I think that at home, big difference. I also think the weapons get involved, and I think they bounce back. I think they find a way to beat Minnesota. Minnesota's good, but on the road, I'm not feeling that. I think Dolphins get the home win.
That's what I thought about heavily in this one because the Dolphins are on an 8-game home win streak. It's tough to play in Miami. With that being said, streaks are meant to be broken. 24-20 Minnesota Vikings. They find a way to win in this game. I think it ends up being a close game at the end, and it's going to be another fourth quarter comeback from the Vikings, which we've seen a lot of. Give me the Vikings here at 24-20. The next game on our list is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. And this is not your Tom Brady versus Ben Roethlisberger matchup. Sadly, this is Tom Brady versus Kenny Baby Hands Pickett. The Bucs are 8-point favorites in this game with an over/under of 44. Bucs 3-2, Steelers 1-4 heading into this matchup. It was a very, very tough week last week for the Steelers, getting smoked by the Bills. It does not get any easier now that they face the Bucs. Actually, it does get easier because it's not the Bills, but it's still a tough matchup because it's the Bucs. Aaron, in a game like this, and I think I asked this question last week, and I'm going to ask it again. What do you want to see from the Steelers offense, the young Steelers offense of Pickett and Pickens and Johnson and Hare? Like, what do you want to see from them in a type of game where it's not going to be a good game script? They're going to be down. It's tough defense. What do you look for here?
I mean, right now, I've already. I'm gonna be honest. I've chalked the season up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the season's over. They're not going to the playoff.
Not gonna be 500.
They're not going to be Kenny Pickett at this point. So if you're looking for growth, you're looking for it at the quarterback position. You need to find out if this guy's going to be your future, if he's going to be your franchise. I have serious concerns about Najee Harris, and I'll say it again. I don't want to say it's about Alabama, but he looks slow. He doesn't look as effective. Maybe it's the foot. He's very inefficient running back. He is. He's like,
no. I'm not saying no to that. I'm not saying. Yeah, I was saying I don't know if it's Alabama. Like what?
What? Like, Alabama running backs, like it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm not saying all of them come out. Josh Jacobs is great. Yeah, he looks explosive. I'm just saying the type of back that Najee Harris does not fit in today's NFL. Unless you're Derrick Henry and you're that special, it does not play. It's funny when Ezekiel Elliott looks the way he looks, we talk about a guy being washed. He looks just like Najee Harris right now. Runs into the line, gets 3 or 4 yards, physical guy, but can't really do anything explosive. And we call that guy washed, and one guy, because he's 23 years old, oh, he's great. He's going to be the future. No, he's inefficient, and I have serious concerns about that. So the offensive line is not great. The offensive line is bad there. Go ahead.
Let me go into this is what I really want to talk about, because it's very easy to like talk about how Kenny Pickett, you just want to see growth. Give me an X's and O's deep dive of like specific types of plays you want to see. Like what are, like, for Steelers fans watching this game, knowing that they're outmatched, like what type of plays do you want to see from Kenny Pickett? What type of throw? Like, can you give me any types of specifics of what type of game you want to see from Kenny Pickett?
It's not about the throws, because he has the arm talent to make every throw in the league. So you know that coming out. When we talk about quarterbacks' growth, we know what kind of throws they can make. We know a guy's arm strength. He can make NFL throws. What you want to see from a young quarterback, especially a guy like Kenny Pickett, is what we asked about Justin Fields. Can you get to your secondary, out of your primary reads, and get to your secondary and your reads after the fact and be accurate and on time? That clock in your head as a quarterback has to go boom, 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 boom. And it can't, if there's a delay, if there's a hesitation, that window is now closed. Because in college, the windows are like this. In the NFL, the windows are like this. Like, it happens that fast. So if your first read is not there, you can't sit and wait, because if you sit and wait on your first read, guess what happens when you turn to your second read? Now it's too late for your second read or your third read, and it just goes, and then you're sacked, or then you're throwing the ball away, or then you're forcing it and you're turning the football over. So the decision making and his instincts have to be quick. It has to be boom, boom, boom. It's not there, check it down. It's got to be boom, boom. Oh, second read's there, throw it. Like, the decision making has to be quick, and that just comes with experience. Sometimes he's going to be on time, sometimes he's not. But the more he plays, the better idea we'll get of whether he's able to make those adjustments. Some guys never make those adjustments, and that's when they're busts. And other guys, they can process that information and say, okay, now I see it, now I know what to do, and get better in the future. He's going to make mistakes, but you want to see that progression as we go on. And I have the Bucs in this one. Obviously, I don't think the Steelers are very good. I have them 33-17 Bucs, and Tom Brady is going to get some points. Steelers defense hasn't looked great. Allowed all that to the Jets. Bucs 33-17.
And I got the Bucs as well, but I'm closer to the spread. I think it's a late game falling to the end zone for the Steelers. Give me 28-20 Tampa Bay.
I do not have it close at all. I feel disrespectful in a way to Mike Tomlin, but I don't have faith in this offense of scoring that many points. 27-10 is my final score here for the Bucs, obviously winning here. But Steelers, you're just time to rebuild, time to make stuff happen. It's not going to be a fun game against Tampa. Next game on our list, it's the showdown that we've all been waiting to talk about. It's the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. This matchup, battle of two 4-1 teams, rematch of their thrilling AFC playoff game last year. The Bills are favorites in this game by 2.5 points with an over-under of 54 points here in this matchup. This is the first time we talked about it on Thursday. I believe that this is the first time that Patrick Mahomes is ever a home dog in his career. The Bills are no slouch, though. There's a good reason why the Bills are favored in this game. Aaron, your thoughts on the spread here, the 2.5 point favorites for the Bills, because we talk about on the road. What do you want to talk about with this game?
You're going to ask me about the damn spread and not the game? Yeah. Come on, Vincent Milani.
What do you want to talk about? You can go ahead and talk about whatever you want to talk about with this game. This is a free roaming game because it's going to be a fun
guy. I want to talk about this guy. See this guy right here. The disrespect. And I'm going to steal this because I thought this was one of the best takes I've heard. What's that guy's name? He used to be like come and talk to Callan Cowherd. I forget his name, but he talked about the disrespect and the people talking about Josh Allen and the rivalry between him and Patrick Mahomes and all this stuff. And he said, there's no rivalry here. Mahomes has got all the accolades. Mahomes is the only one that's won the MVP. Mahomes is the only one that's won a Super Bowl. Mahomes is the only one that's won a Super Bowl MVP. He's the only one that's beaten Josh Allen in the playoffs consistently. He's the only, he owns everything, and he has the numbers to back it up. I don't know what the conversation is, but the Patrick Mahomes conversation is where it's at. He is great. This is a quarterback that is disrespected in his greatness. And it's so hard to hear people talk about Josh Allen the way they do right now, including myself, because he's playing so good, but it's like we forget what Patrick Mahomes has done. And we forget where he's at in his career compared to every other quarterback in the NFL outside of Thomas Brady. And that's because Thomas Brady is 83 years old. There is nothing like this man on the planet right now. And he consistently shows why he's the best. This game right here is going to be I just want to marvel in this game. I want to sit and I want to watch, and I'm gonna hopefully just lean back in my chair, although I got to be at the Falcons game, so I don't know how I'm going to do this. I might be in Atlanta all night because then the Cowboys play the Sunday night game. I don't know, but I am going to.
What time is the Falcons game tomorrow on Sunday?
1 o'clock.
This is a 4 o'clock game. You may be able. Well, you're obviously still going to be there.
I got to do a stand up. I got to get in the car. I got to drive back. So I'm.
I mean, you can at least watch on the ride home.
No. See, this is what I said. I need to be able to relax, sit back, have just nice environment, and enjoy this game. Because if it's anything like last year in the playoffs, it is going to be just absolutely beautiful to watch. I don't care what the spread is. I don't care what the over-under is. It's just going to be beautiful to watch the two best quarterbacks in football play one another. And yes, I am all over Mahomes. He is my man crush. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest football player on the planet right now. And that's all I have to say. I love him so much.
That's how it is. And when you look at the matchup between these two teams, and we talk about how great they have been, these two teams currently rank 1 and 2 in Super Bowl odds. Mahomes and Allen currently rank 1 and 2 in MVP odds and in passing touchdowns this season. These two guys are studs. On the Bills side, AJ, how do they, I don't want to say pull off the upset because they're favored in this game, but obviously on the road, lost last year. What do the Bills need to do in this game to, outside of stopping Patrick Mahomes? Give me a deep dive on what do you want to see from the Bills here?
Sometimes it's that simple, Vincent.
It's okay. I have a second one. It's not as simple. Stop Travis Kelce. That's your only other option. That's your only other option. You're not going to stop Patrick Mahomes. And I'll tell you what. Go ahead.
This game, I'm like, okay, we're going to roll through the shit games, Commanders, Bears, not much to talk about. Let's just shit on them and roll. And then this game with the Chiefs and Bills, I'm like, okay, well, there's going to be a lot of juice here. But there really isn't a whole lot of juice because there's so much good like this. There's no easy questions of how do you stop Patrick Mahomes? You don't. How do you stop Josh Allen? You don't. You just don't. You let them score their 54 total points, probably even more. This game might reach 60 total points. That's probably what we're going to see here. That's what happens. I guess the real question is which defender, I'm going to ask you both this question, and then we'll get into predictions. Give me one defender in this game that we're talking about on Monday.
Ooh.
For me, I'm going to go it's so easy to go to the Chiefs side for me, but I'm going to go with Jordan Poyer. I've loved the way he's played recently. I don't want to say ball hawking safety, but he's starting to have those little tendencies this season. He seems to always be around the ball. I'm not saying he's attacking and picking off everything coming his way or anything, but you see the ball thrown up in the air. When the play's said and done, Jordan Poyer's around it. I think he has enough to affect some of what Patrick Mahomes and his offense wants to do to an extent. Make a couple nice third down stops, but other than that, it's like we just gave all the praise in the world of both offenses. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jordan Poyer.
Well, hopefully Jordan Poyer plays in this game.
Yeah, he might not
really.
Play, so.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Really? Well, he didn't play last week.
No, yeah, he didn't play last week. He's battling a rib injury. He was seen at practice yesterday in a red non-contact jersey. So that is a thing.
Great analysis, Alfonso Johnson.
Matt Milano. Same thing.
For me, it's actually easy, and it's maybe it's the low hanging fruit. It's Chris Jones. When Chris Jones plays well on the Kansas City defensive line and creates pressure and bats down balls, that is when Kansas City's defense is at their best. I think the key to getting a Josh Allen, especially guys that can move like him, is getting that pressure up the middle. And that's what Chris Jones does and Aaron Donald do better than anybody in the NFL. This is the reason why those edge rushers are nice, but then you can run up the middle as a quarterback and you're gone. When you can get pressure up the middle and force these quarterbacks to take that looping outside route, that gives the defenses, especially a defense with as much speed as Kansas City has on defense, a time to get to him. I think it limits Josh Allen's running. It's really going to be about Chris Jones getting pressure up the middle.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills defender here that actually will play in this game for sure.
Shut up.
It's Von Miller. I think that this is the game. This is why you bring in Von Miller. We saw it in week 1 when they played the Rams. He was a difference maker for the Bills in that game. He was in the backfield all the time. He wasn't always getting the sacks, but he was making a difference. And he showed in that Rams game for the Bills why you went out and got him. And this is the type of game here that he needs to show why you went out and got him. Patrick Mahomes has not been sacked a lot this season. Like we said earlier on in the show when we were talking about, I'm not even going to bring up his name. Like we said earlier on in the show, we were talking about quarterbacks don't do well when they're pressured. That's just a plain old fact. Patrick Mahomes, he does great at everything. It's tough to do great when you're on your back. Von Miller has to step up here. It's very hard to. But you need to cause chaos. But that's
so. Are you saying he's going to? Because that was the question, right? You're saying Von Miller's going to get to Patrick Mahomes? The disrespect?
Damn it. No, I don't, because my prediction in this game is not that. My prediction in this game is the Chiefs 31-30. So no, it's not Von Miller, but I do think he has to be a difference maker in this game. I do think his name is going to be talked about on Sunday. Give me the Chiefs here 31-30. It's a battle. It's a shootout. We're hitting the over here, folks. All the bad primetime games all get made up for here in this 4 o'clock window game. We're going to have Tony Romo, Jim Nance, hyped up, building this game. Chiefs, Bills, let's go. Give me the Chiefs 31-30.
And I, sir, am also going to go with the Chiefs in a fantastic, wonderful game that's going to take all 4 quarters, and we're all going to be excited and forget Thursday ever happened. 34-31, Kansas City Chiefs. Oh,
what in the world is going on here?
This fucking guy.
Which part?
What in the world is going on here?
Which part?
Y'all both took the Chiefs? Oh, yes. Now y'all want to be a part of this Chiefs?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Now y'all want to be a part of this Chiefs? No.
When was I not?
Hey, I keep receipts, brother. In 2021, the Vincent Milani and A.J. Johnsons were, we have some serious concerns about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Too many names. Too many names.
No. You can't play the fence on this one because you were trying to tiptoe around it all last year, but you knew deep down inside you were like, I could be wrong. So you kept playing both sides.
No. Every time I said there were things you were supposed to look at the Kansas City Chiefs because you would be blind to not say the offense wasn't having issues. Did I ever once say you had to worry about it?
See, you're playing both sides still. Well, you're kind of going through it, but they're not. But
how is stating a fact about an offense but not being worried about the team as a whole?
One man has been consistent.
That
is me. This man right here, this man right here is the second coming of Jesus walking on the football field. Matter of fact, I don't even think his feet touch the ground when he plays because he's just floating. He is that man. He's that dude. He's Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs win this game 33 to whatever I had the score for the Bills. It does not matter because his connection with that man, 87, right now is the best thing on the planet. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, undeniable, greatest quarterback tight end duo you ever seen on the face of this earth. 15 gets it done. He gets it done once again on Sunday afternoon. Look at that. Walking on water, Jesus style. That's what he does.
I was hoping to get to that play.
30, whatever, put my score up. Put my score up. Put my score up. You want to put my damn score up. 33-31, Kansas City wins this game. It probably comes down like last time. This time they only probably have 1 second left, but Patrick Mahomes is going to fly with his little angel wings, throw it to Travis Kelce, and he's going to get in the end zone, and the Chiefs win the damn game. Let's go.
I think Joey
That's
B's
right. I got a man crush. I don't care. I'm comfortable with myself. I got a man crush. Patrick Mahomes is the shit. He's the man. He's walking on water. Can't nobody else do anything about it.
That's why I wanted to play that last play against the Bucs where he got sacked basically, and he was in the air making that play. You're talking about. I don't even know if he walks on the field.
He floats.
That's that play. That's that play. It's going to be a great game though. I'm excited to see what happens. Let's get through the cliches out there. We're all going to be tuned in. I wish we could have ended on this game, but we do have one more game, unfortunately, to talk about, which we're going to roll through. It's the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football. Broncos enter this game 2-3, Chargers at 3-2. The Chargers are favored in this game by 4.5 points with a nice little over-under of 45.5 skis. This Broncos team, lots of disappointment coming out of there. Both these teams, lots of disappointment coming out of, I should say. Maybe one more than the other. But specifically on the Broncos side of things, is this – we talk about the keys to beating the Chargers defense. It's running the ball. There's no Javonte Williams. It's now Melvin Gordon. It's now Mike Boone, and it is now Latavius Murray, maybe if he plays. Aaron, is this the game where you need Russell Wilson to set – like this is it, right? This is the game you need Russell Wilson to step up. It's that divisional matchup, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite shorts this offseason, this was recently, was the one AJ posted talking about let's ride, and I was like, no, let's win. Like this is what you were brought here to do. You have to be the franchise guy. There's no excuses about system. Like I get it. I've made those. I've said be patient. Like I do believe he can get it right. But at some point, you just have to play football. You just have to do what you're paid to do. And that's be the franchise quarterback that you're paid to be. And I don't know. I don't know if it's a disconnect between the offensive coordinator and the play calling in him. I don't know if receivers aren't on the same page. But I don't care anymore. I don't care what the excuse is. It just can't be an excuse anymore. It's got to get done. Russell has to step up. There's some things that are coming out about him that don't sit well with me. Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman were having a conversation about Russell Wilson, and Marshawn was like, I've been wanting to call dude to make sure his mental is right because, I thought he was going to go to Denver and do his thing, or I thought he was going to be in Seattle forever. And Richard Sherman's like, he couldn't. He needed to get out of the shadow of, was it the Legion of Boom? Was it the running game? And he wanted to do it on his own. And now he's there, and there's question marks like, how much of Seattle was Russell Wilson? Or was he built in the perfect system for him? And I know we talk about system quarterbacks and stuff, but this is his chance. This is his system. This is supposed to be him taking Denver to the next level. I know it's only week 6, and I'm trying to be as patient as possible, but there's been a different Russell Wilson. I don't want to say he's different than he was before. I get he's always an optimistic kind of guy, but something tells me that celebrityism has gotten to him a little bit. That he is not the same grinder that he was when he had to prove himself in the NFL. And that, to me, is a problem as a quarterback if you don't have that work ethic or that grind that you felt like before. Tom Brady's 45 years old. He's about to get a divorce because that grind is still in there. And
Come on, man.
These are facts. Like, the man is choosing to play football when his family doesn't want him to play football. And I'm not sure what's all going on around it, but that's the grind I'm talking about. The competitive nature to want to be great and to not be worried about my Gucci bag shoes or my and I don't know if the celebrityism is really getting to him, because Tom Brady does other things too. But when it comes to football, there's not a question about whether Tom Brady loves it or passionate or, going to grind to get the things he needs to get done. And right now I'm starting to question Russell Wilson. And it's sad, but I have no choice but to, because he's still the same guy. Like, the football skills haven't changed, but something is not the same. And that's what I worry about.
Yeah, this is a Broncos team that really is just this offense, and I don't want to compare it to the Bears here, but it's almost like we're still trying. Like really,
it's a little bit better
can.
than the Bears.
They are, but they're both going through some identity crises here. But the question, like the thing that I compare it to the Bears too, is that we don't know if it's on the coach. We don't know if it's on how much of it's on the quarterback. We don't know where to point the finger, and maybe it goes both ways. Maybe it goes both ways here. Yeah. Well, with the game last week against Colts, it did come down to the quarterback here, and so the finger is just being pointed everywhere. They got to figure it out. AJ, on the Chargers side of things, they're going up against a very, very good Broncos defense. That's where we can talk about this Denver team as been showing out exactly what we expected. Broncos defense looking good. How do the Chargers beat this defense?
The way they've been beating teams for the last 2 weeks, as I said, run this offense through Austin Eckler. He's been the guy for years. He's been the guy again this season over the last 2 weeks. 20 touches in each game, well over 100 yards from scrimmage. Definitely last week running for 173. And there's always been question about his talent as a runner, so to speak. I think you let Austin Eckler, let him ride. Let him be the guy on the lightning bolt taking you guys to the end zone. Justin Herbert's more comfortable when he has a guy like Austin Eckler to check down to. He's more comfortable when he has an Austin Eckler to run through. I think that he's the answer, especially if Keenan Allen is not going to be able to play. I know he's been limited, and they're still trying to get him in there. So I run this offense through an Austin Eckler. Mike Williams obviously will get his touches, so on and so forth. And I'm going to go right into mine. I got the Chargers 28-20.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there. Vinny, come on, man.
What?
You can't do that and put AJ's pick on mine.
You haven't said your pick yet.
I don't like it. I don't want to have AJ's. There we go. Put my pick up. 24-20. Chargers win this game. Listen, Russell Wilson doesn't get the excuse of Nathaniel Hackett anymore. I don't care how bad Nathaniel Hackett is. There's an expectation that Russell Wilson has to live up to. At the end of the day, the talent on the field has to come and play. And this Chargers defense is not very good against the run. I expect Denver to try to run the football. And if they can't, it's going to come down to Russell making plays. And I don't think he makes enough plays in this game. And we're questioning Denver once again next week. Give me the Chargers here 24-20.
Get Aaron's pick off the screen. I don't like it. It's gross.
Let's make it.
I just didn't like it when I was solo. It made me feel like AJ-esque. And I don't like your picks.
The graphic had a stench to it. 21-17 Chargers win this game. I still think the Broncos offense still has trouble. And like you said, Aaron, on Monday, we're going to say the same. Eventually we're just going to not give a shit about the Broncos sucking. It's just going to be what it is. And I think that Monday we're just going to really get closer to that. Chargers win this game 21-17. That does it for our predictions on our week 6 matchups here. If you missed a single episode, a single game, they are all nicely clipped for you on our YouTube page at Sac City Pod. Be sure to go check that out. Again, we do these games. We do these predictions for you guys. We know we're covering the entire NFL, but we try and make sure that we are team specific in the way we're producing our content. So whatever team you're a fan of, we got you covered all week long, all week 6 and all NFL season on our YouTube page at Sac City Pod. AJ, do the beautiful people at home a favor and tell them the rest of the social medias that they can follow us at.
Yes, I will do that for all of us. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for rocking with us at episode 100. Good morning, Sac City. We appreciate y'all checking us out at Sac City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. The content is buzzing. You don't want to miss anything we've covered in the last 100 episodes. Do it. Check it out. Head over to those socials. Hit those likes. Hit those follows. Hit those shares. At Sac City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for all of the best NFL content on the interwebs. Sac City, baby. Woo-hoo.
In the webs. In the webs. We'll be back again live on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, breaking down all the great fantasy matchups we've got. We got rankings, we've got our DFS plays, and so much more. You do not want to miss that. Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube at Sac City Pod. Gentlemen, it was a great 100 episodes. It's going to be a great 100 more. I did the math. I believe we're supposed to be at like 150 plus episodes by season's end. So, that's a thing. Congratulations to you both on our 100th episode. Again, Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time for yet another great show of Sac City Podcast. For your boy, AJ Johnson, and for my best friend, Aaron Mukes, I am me. We will see you tomorrow, Sunday.
Holla.
Oh, he ain't got anything.
Peace out.
We know we were a much better team than we came up and represented ourselves.